Yo, what up, guys? How are you all doing? How has the trading journey been? So, on today's episode, we'll be looking at understanding technical analysis. But before we proceed, please, if you've not subscribed to this channel and you've been visiting it, I encourage you to kindly hit the subscribe button. And you like the video, you like what we are doing here, kindly share the video to your friends, tell people about it, refer them to the video, okay? Because that just the basis. That's just the reason behind what we are doing here, to help as many persons as possible to understand everything about cryptocurrency trading. Okay, so on today's edition, we'll be looking at understanding technical analysis. Firstly, we need to define the subject matter here. We need to understand what technical analysis is. So what is technical analysis, or who is a technical analyst? Technical analysis is simply the process or the method of forecasting the direction of price through the study of past market data. Okay, so when you're trying to use the previous or the past performance of the market to determine the future action, okay, of the market, that is just what technical analysis is. So a technical analyst is somebody who uses the market's past data to forecast or to determine the upcoming movement or the upcoming price, as the case may be. Okay, so this technical analysis is actually a different world on its own when it comes to cryptocurrency trading. It's all encompassing. It has a lot of things to it. But in this course, in this very class, we just want to group everything about technical analysis. We want to group everything under 4 tables, under 4 points. So point number 1 is we have the chart. Okay, when we talk of the chart, there are many types of charts. We have the candlestick chart, we have the line chart, the bar chart, and there are just many of them. So an analyst or a technical analysis can choose to use any of the chart patterns, okay, to take his trade. Okay, but then you need to understand the dynamics of the very chart pattern you're trying to use. You need to understand what's the very type of chart pattern, okay, what it entails. For instance, we have the candlestick chart. Under the candlestick chart, there are many types of candles. Okay, there are many types of candles that are involved in the candlestick chart. We have the bullish engulfing, we have the doji, we have the hammer. Okay, there are just many of them. So if you're using the candlestick chart, whenever you spot a particular candle, you need to understand what that candle does in a chart. So generally, charts are used as entry triggers. It helps you to know when to enter the market and when not to enter the market. It helps you to also know when to exit the market. Okay, so point number 2, we have the drawing tools. Drawing tools generally are those things that help you to determine the direction of the market. They help you to determine the direction of the market and also help you to know where the market is going to maybe rest or get to. In other words, it helps you to know the area of value of the very markets you're trading. So when we talk about drawing tools, we have support and resistance, we have the trend line, we have the trend channel. So these are just those tools that an analyst or a technical analyst normally uses to gauge the movement, the price movement, and also know where the particular area of value is going to be. Okay, so that's the role of drawing tools. And then thirdly, we have indicators. These ones there are just many of them. There are just many indicators. There's many of them are as available. Okay, so for the indicators, we have the RSI, we have the MACD, we have the Fibonacci, we have the MA, we have the ATR, that's relative strength index, moving average, convergence and divergence. We have the Fibonacci, we have the moving average, we have the ATR, average true range. Okay, so there are just many of them. There are just many of them. The list can never be exhausted. There are just many of these indicators, but you need to know what each does and also need to understand the dynamics of any indicator you're trying to use. Also know the combination, because many persons who analyze make the mistake of joining as many indicators as possible in their chart. At the end, it gets them confused. It leads to analysis paralysis. So you need to know what any indicator you're using. You need to know the rule. Okay, for instance, for the moving average, you can use the moving average to know the area of value. If you're using the daily chart and then you are using the 50-day moving average, the 50-day exponential moving average. It helps you to know where the market is going to get to. Sometimes it can serve as a support, sometimes it can serve as a resistance. That's for the 50-day exponential moving average. And then ATR, that's average true range. This one helps you to know where to place your stop loss. Okay, it helps you to determine where you should place your stop loss at any point in time. So generally, these indicators, their role is to help us to identify area of value in any given market. Okay, and then finally, we have the volume. Okay, we have the volume. Some persons don't use volume. Personally, I use volume. Okay, volume helps you to know the strength of any trend. Okay, if let's say there is a breakout and you look at the volume, if a breakout is not accompanied by an appreciable volume, most of the times it tells you that this breakout is not sustainable. For instance, if a breakout is about to occur, and then let's say it has already occurred, but then you've not seen the equivalent volume, because every breakout is supposed to be accompanied by an appreciable volume. So the volume is not that much observed. Okay, it's not that shown. So it could give you this idea that this thing might be a fake out. Okay, that this breakout might not be sustainable, that it could end up being a fake out. So volume helps you to determine the strength of the trend. It helps you to know the strength or the weakness of the particular trend. Okay, and then to round it off, the question now arises: how do you use technical analysis? How to use TA? Firstly, you need to know the purpose. There's a popular maxim that says, if the need of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. That's why sometimes, you look at some person's chart is having this kind of, the chart is not, there are just many indicators on the chart. You can't just make sense of it. It's because the person hasn't really understood the purpose for which the indicator he or she, or the indicators he or she is using. It doesn't know the purpose for which they are made. So you need to know the purpose for whichever indicator you're using or whichever charting tool you're using. Okay, so you need to know the purpose. And then secondly, you need to take what you need and discard the rest, because like rightly pointed out, that technical analysis is a whole new world on its own. Okay, so you need to just limit your chart to just few. You don't need to use everything, so that it doesn't lead to analysis paralysis. Just limit it to as little as possible. Okay, so that even if somebody comes and looks at the chart, the person will have an idea of what you're trying to show, or the person will have an idea of what you are trying to point out. So limit it to as little as possible and take what you need and discard the rest. You don't need to jam pack everything, all the indicators, all the charting tools, everything on your chart for you to make sense. No, just use the little ones, the few ones you've understood the way they work and all that. Just use those ones and then discard the rest. And the best thing here is just to use normal price action. Maybe with your knowledge of price action, then combining with one or two indicators, you're good to go. You don't need all those indicators and all those charting tools in your chart for you to become profitable. All right, guys, so that's just a little thing I want to share with you. And please, if you like my content, you like what I'm doing, kindly hit the subscribe button, share the video, let people know about it. Till I come your way again, I remain your man, Mr. X to the O to the L to the U to the Sean, Mr. Solution.